Welcome to SVU 405D Project Management. My name is Felicia Frida Aqua. I'll be taking you through this Unit 5, Project Integration or Stakeholder Management. We're going to focus our discussion on Session 3, Project Integration Activities 2. By the end of the session, you should be able to discuss how projects works are monitored and then controlled, and then describe how to perform the integration change control, and then explain project control phase. So when it comes to monitoring and controlling with project work, we monitor by measuring, and then distributing performance information, assessing measurements and trends that affects the process. So at the end of the day, yes, there's a target we've set, there's something we want to achieve, but there's a need for us to really look at what is being done on the floor, on the ground, or actual deliverable, what is really being done on the project when it comes to realities on the ground. You need to be able to monitor them. So if you're going to monitor, how do you monitor? You may need to collect information, or look at some measurement and distribution of performance of information and other things that are happening on the field of play when it comes to your project. So while controlling involves determining corrective or preventive actions, or pre-planning and following up on action plans to determine whether the action taken resolves the performance issues. So yes, we have to monitor in order for us to be able to control. Controlling is looking at, are we meeting target, what we said we wanted to do, is that what we are doing, or we've deviated? So if we've deviated, then we need to put in place corrective measurement, and sometimes you can put in place preventive measures as well to avoid some of those deviations, and you can even pre-plan and follow up on your plans to make sure that those issues do not even occur any at all. So some analytical techniques which are used in the project management is what we call the regression analysis, the group methods, the causal analysis, which also help you when it comes to monitoring and controlling. And then project information systems are also used to equip project managers with databases and other project records for effective monitoring of the project. If you're going to monitor, information is very, very key, and so we need to gather as much as possible, and we need to be able to use this for decision making, or to analyze it and see where we are on the project. So when the project team has carefully performed this function, the following outputs will be received, which is the change request, the work performance report, and then the project plan update. And there's a need for us to perform the integrated change control. And I always say, whenever you hear integrated, what should come to mind is synergy. You want to bring everything together. So this process involves reviewing all change requests, approving changes, and managing changes to deliverables, organizational process assets, project document, as well as project management plan and communication in there as well. So it is very important for us to really augment all these things, from our change request to approving changes and managing changes of deliverables, organizing process assets, documents, management plans, communication. All of these would have to be cohesively put together or integrated. So this actually project integration change control actually reviews all changes or amendments to the project documents, deliverables, or the project management plan, and approves or rejects those changes. Are we going to accept those changes, or are we going to reject it? That will be based on what the information we have at hand from our documents, and looking at our deliverables, and then the management plan, which we've already set in place. So the significance of this process is that it allows documented changes within the project to be reflected in an integrated approach, whilst reducing project risk. And we looked at project risk in our earlier sessions and looked at how they can really affect the project in meeting its deadlines or its main objectives as well. So once we perform the function, we made mention that the key outputs we are going to get from the integrated change control is 1, the change request, 2 is the change log, 3 is the project management plan updates, and then project document updates as well. These are 4 key outputs we may get when we're able to do the performance integrated change control. So when the project comes to an end or is closing or at the closing stage, first and foremost, you're going to have the final product or service or result transition. So the project was set out to do something. Now that we've been able to do it, we then need to move it or give it from the project team to those who the customers of that particular project. And we've realized that once it's also done, some organizational assets would have to be updated. This is not limited to only these 3, but then they would usually include these 3, which is the project files, the project phase closure documents, and then the historical information. So the project files would have all documents relating to the deliverables which were supposed to be done under the project. You're going to have all those documentations and things in there in the project files. You're going to have the project closure document, which is telling or informing about the closure of the document or officially writing on the closure of the document and all issues pertaining to how it was closed as well. Then you have the historical information, which usually you share your lessons learned and all those key things which are very key for running the project. Maybe if they want to redo it, or if they want to look out for it, or if they want to even evaluate the whole project as a whole, this historical information is very, very critical as well. So when you're closing your project, just don't end it for ending's sake. You should ensure that your project files are up to date and they are all well documented. Everything is in there and is well documented. There should be document which talks about the closure and how it was done, how everybody or all the stakeholders have been addressed, especially at the closing of the project, and then historical information on how it has gone by far, lessons learned, what can be done, suggestions to improve it going forward, and all these can really help or be useful to the project team as well. So in this session, we've discussed how project works, are monitored and controlled, and how to perform the integrated change control as well as project closure.